They lied to you. Your parents lied. Your teachers lied. Society fed you a fantasy wrapped in poison, and you swallowed it whole. Work hard, be good, stay humble, follow the rules, and one day, if you're lucky, if you sacrifice enough years, enough dreams, enough life, maybe you'll be comfortable. Maybe. That's the biggest scam ever sold to the human race. You want to know the truth about getting rich fast? It has nothing to do with grinding, nothing to do with being the nicest person in the room, nothing to do with waiting your turn. Speed to wealth doesn't come from labor. It comes from power. It comes from leverage. It comes from understanding that fortune doesn't reward the diligent, it rewards the bold. And the world will never tell you this, because the moment you understand it, you stop being useful to them. Machiavelli saw it 500 years ago when he wrote that fortune is like a raging river. When it floods, it destroys everything in its path. But here's what most people miss. He said that when the waters are calm, that's when you build the dams and the channels. That's when you prepare to redirect the flood in your direction. Most people wait for permission. Most people wait for safety. And while they wait, fortune drowns them. Right now, you're either playing offense or you're losing. There's no middle ground. Every single day you spend being careful, someone else is taking your spot. Someone else is capturing the position you thought you'd earn. The game doesn't pause for fairness. It doesn't care about your resume or your intentions. The only question that matters is this: are you willing to move before you're ready? Are you willing to take what's yours before someone else does? If you've ever felt that burning frustration, that rage at watching people less talented than you succeed faster, then you already know what I'm about to say is true. You've been playing by the wrong rules. And today, that ends. Type the word bold in the comments right now if you're done playing safe. Tell me one risk you wish you had the guts to take, because by the end of this, you won't just wish. You'll know exactly how to take it. Let's start with something uncomfortable. Most of you aren't playing the game you think you're playing. You think you're building wealth. You think you're climbing. But you're not. You're surviving. And survival is not a strategy for dominance. It's a trap that keeps you hungry but never fed. Here's the reality. 2 games are happening at the same time. The first game is the one they taught you. Go to school, get a degree, find a job, trade your time for money, contribute to a retirement account, be grateful for your 2 weeks of vacation, smile at your boss. This is the survival game. It's designed to keep you contained. It gives you just enough to stop you from revolting, but never enough to leave. Then there's the second game. The real game. The game of position. This is the game where the rules are invisible, where wealth doesn't come from hours worked but from systems controlled, where the winner isn't the hardest worker but the person who owns the chessboard. In this game, leverage is everything. Perception is currency. And speed is the only edge that matters. Most people don't even know the second game exists. They spend their entire lives optimizing their position in the survival game, wondering why they never break through. They think that if they just work a little harder, sacrifice a little more, eventually they'll get their reward. But the truth is brutal. The survival game has no exit. It's not designed to let you win. It's designed to keep you playing. You've been taught that ambition is dangerous, that wanting more makes you greedy, that playing it safe is noble. This is propaganda. It's not moral advice, it's crowd control. The people at the top don't believe this garbage for a second. They know that fortune favors the aggressive. They know that waiting is the same as losing, and they're counting on you to keep waiting while they take everything. Think about it. Why do people tell you to be patient when they see you hungry? Why do they preach humility when you start to rise? Because your patience keeps them comfortable. Your humility makes you less threatening. They don't want you to win. They want you to stay predictable. Machiavelli understood this. He said it's better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Why? Because love is conditional. It evaporates the moment people's interests shift. But fear, respect, power, these things create space. They force the world to make room for you. And that's what you need. Space to move, space to build, space to take. Right now, ask yourself, which game are you playing? Are you trading time for incremental raises and calling it progress? Are you waiting for someone to notice your hard work and promote you? Are you hoping the universe will reward your good behavior? If the answer is yes, you're in the survival game, and you'll stay there until you decide to stop. The real game starts when you realize that wealth is not a reward for virtue. It's a result of positioning. It's about being in the right place with the right leverage at the right time and having the guts to move when everyone else hesitates. It's about building systems that work without you, capturing attention, controlling resources, moving faster than the competition can react. That's the game. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Now let's get into the principles that govern this game. These aren't theories. These are the ruthless laws that separate the powerful from the powerless, the wealthy from the wishful. If you master these, you don't just get rich, you get rich fast. And that's the whole point. The first law is control, not in control of yourself. That's the weak interpretation. I'm talking about control over situations, control over other people's perception, control over the levers that move outcomes. Most people have no control because they gave it away without realizing it. They let their boss control their schedule. They let social media control their attention. They let fear control their decisions. And then they wonder why their life feels like it's happening to them instead of being created by them. Here's the harsh truth. If you don't control the frame, someone else will. And they'll use it to extract value from you. Every time you ask for permission, you hand control to someone else. Every time you wait for validation, you give someone else the power to decide your worth. Every time you play it safe because you're afraid of judgment, you let other people's opinions run your life. Machiavelli said that the one who adapts his approach to the times will succeed, and the one whose approach clashes with the times will fail. Translation: don't wait for the world to accommodate you. Force the world to adapt to you. That's control. So how do you take control back? You stop asking. You start declaring. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You create the moment. You stop letting other people set the agenda for your day, your career, your life. You set it, and then you defend it ruthlessly. Let me give you an example. You want a raise. Most people walk into their boss's office and ask. They present their case. They wait for approval. That's not control. That's begging. Instead, you engineer the situation where giving you the raise is the obvious move. You become so valuable that losing you costs them more than paying you. You let competitors recruit you. You let your boss hear about it. You create the frame where they're reacting to you, not the other way around. That's control. The second law is leverage. This is the difference between working hard and working smart. Leverage is anything that multiplies your effort. It's the reason one person can send an email and make $1 million while another person works 60 hours a week and stays broke. Without leverage, you're trapped in linear growth. 1 hour equals 1 unit of output. That's a death sentence. The powerful understand this instinctively. They don't trade time for money. They build systems, deploy capital, command people, or control attention. Then they let those assets generate returns while they sleep. That's leverage. Machiavelli knew this too. He said that a wise ruler cannot and should not keep his word when doing so is to his disadvantage. Harsh, yes, but the point is this. Flexibility is leverage. Rigidity is weakness. The person who can shift, who can deploy different tools for different situations, who isn't locked into one strategy, that person wins. Here's what most people get wrong. They think leverage means having money. Money is one form of leverage, but it's not the only one. You can leverage other people's time by building a team. You can leverage other people's money by raising capital or using credit intelligently. You can leverage other people's attention by building an audience. You can leverage knowledge by learning skills that are rare and valuable. The fastest way to wealth is to stack leverage. Don't just use one, use all of them. Build a system that uses other people's money to hire other people to create products that capture other people's attention. That's how you go from zero to wealthy in a fraction of the time it takes everyone else. But here's the key. You have to be willing to use leverage before you feel ready. Most people wait until they have enough money, enough credibility, enough safety. That's backwards. You use leverage to create those things. You raise money before you have a track record. You hire before you can afford it. You launch before the product is perfect. That's how speed works. You take the risk that everyone else is too afraid to take, and the universe rewards that aggression with opportunity. The third law is perception. Reality doesn't matter as much as you think it does. What matters is what people believe. If people perceive you as powerful, you are powerful. If people perceive you as successful, opportunities flow to you. If people perceive you as dangerous to ignore, they pay attention. Most people are terrified of this law because it feels fake. It feels like lying. But it's not. It's a strategy. Every brand, every leader, every empire is built on perception management. Apple doesn't just make phones. They make you feel like owning their phone says something about you. Tesla doesn't just sell cars. They sell the perception that you're part of the future. Machiavelli put it bluntly. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. And those few will not dare to oppose the many who have the majesty of the state defending them. Translation: manage your image aggressively, because that image becomes your reality in the eyes of others. And their belief in your power is what gives you actual power. So, how do you control perception? You curate every signal you send. You dress like you've already made it. You speak with certainty even when you're uncertain. You associate with people who are where you want to be. You show results publicly and hide failures privately. You create the appearance of momentum because momentum attracts more momentum. Let me be clear, this doesn't mean you fake competence. It means you broadcast competence strategically. It means you understand that people make decisions based on heuristics, shortcuts, and gut feelings. And you give them the shortcuts that lead to the conclusion you want. Here's a quick example. Two entrepreneurs pitch the same idea. One shows up in a hoodie, stumbles through the pitch, and admits he's not sure about the market. The other shows up sharp, speaks with conviction, and name drops a competitor who tried to recruit him. Same idea, different perception. Guess who gets funded? Perception isn't everything, but it's the gatekeeper to everything. The fourth law is speed. This is the law most people violate every single day. They overthink, they wait for perfect information, they polish and prepare and practice until the opportunity is gone. Speed beats perfection, because the world rewards the first mover, not the best mover. Think about every major company you know. Google wasn't the best search engine when it launched. Facebook wasn't the best social network. Amazon wasn't the best bookstore. But they moved fast. They captured market share. They built moats. And by the time better competitors showed up, it was too late. Machiavelli said that the lion cannot protect itself from traps, and the fox cannot defend itself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves. Speed is how you bear both. You move before the trap is set. You strike before the wolves organize. Most people are slow because they're afraid of failure, afraid of judgment, afraid of being wrong. So they wait, they research, they plan. And while they plan, someone else executes, someone else wins. Speed isn't reckless, it's calculated aggression. It's deciding with 80% of the information instead of waiting for 100%. Here's the reframe: every day you wait is a day someone else doesn't. Every week you spend perfecting your idea is a week your competitor spends getting feedback from real customers. The market doesn't reward the most polished product. It rewards the product that's there when the customer is ready to buy. So how do you build speed? You kill perfectionism. You set tight deadlines. You launch before you're comfortable. You make decisions fast and adjust faster. You accept that some bets will fail, and you move on immediately. Speed is a muscle. The more you practice moving fast, the better you get at it. The fifth law is capture. This is the law that separates the ambitious from the wealthy. Ambition without capture is just noise. You can work hard, you can move fast, you can build leverage. But if you don't capture the value you create, someone else will. What does capture mean? It means taking ownership. It means converting effort into assets. It means making sure that when you create value, you're the one who benefits. Most people are value creators who never capture. They work in someone else's company. They build someone else's audience. They generate someone else's wealth, and they get a salary in return. That's not capture, that's extraction. You're being extracted from. Machiavelli was brutal about this. He said that men ought either to be indulged or utterly destroyed because they avenge light offenses but cannot avenge severe ones. The lesson: half measures don't work. When you move, move decisively. When you capture, capture completely. Don't leave room for someone else to take it back. Here's what capture looks like in practice. You don't just get good at a skill. You build a system around that skill that generates revenue without your constant input. You don't just build an audience. You convert that audience into customers, investors, and partners. You don't just close a deal. You structure the deal so you own equity, not just a fee. Capture is about thinking like an owner, not an employee. Employees trade time for money. Owners build assets that appreciate. Employees optimize for salary. Owners optimize for equity. Employees ask what they're paid to do. Owners ask what they can control. The fastest path to wealth is to stop being an employee in your own life. Even if you have a job, think like an owner. Build side leverage, create assets, capture value. Because the moment you shift from renting out your time to owning your output, everything changes. Now let's talk tactics. Principles are useless without execution. You need a playbook. You need to know exactly how to move, where to move, and what to do first. This is where theory becomes power. The first tactical move is picking the right arena. Most people fail because they're fighting on the wrong battlefield. They're trying to win a game where the competition is brutal, the margins are thin, and the rules favor the incumbents. That's not a strategy, that's self-sabotage. You want speed? Pick an arena where you have an edge, where the competition is weak or distracted, where you can move faster than others because you understand something they don't, where the leverage you have actually matters. Here's how you pick. Look for markets that are growing fast but underserved. Look for industries where the old guard is slow and complacent. Look for skills that are rare but increasingly valuable. Look for audiences that are passionate but ignored. That's where you strike. Let me give you a concrete example. 10 years ago, everyone wanted to be a lawyer or a doctor. Stable, prestigious, safe. But the people who got rich fast, they went into tech. They went into content creation. They went into crypto. They picked arenas where the rules were still being written and the competition hadn't arrived yet. That's arena selection. Once you pick your arena, the next move is planting leverage. You need to establish your first piece of control as fast as possible. This could be a skill that makes you indispensable. It could be a relationship with a key player. It could be owning a distribution channel. It could be access to capital. The key is to plant leverage before you need it. Don't wait until you're desperate. Build the relationship before you need the favor. Learn the skill before the job requires it. Secure the funding before the opportunity appears. Leverage planted early compounds. Leveraging planted late costs you the opportunity. Here's a tactic most people miss. Use other people's assets. You don't need your own money to get rich. You need access to money. You don't need your own audience. You need access to an audience. You don't need your own team. You need access to talent. The wealthy understand this. They raise capital. They partner with influencers. They hire players on equity. They structure deals where other people take the risk, and they take the upside. That's not unethical. That's how the game is played. So how do you do this? You offer value first. You prove you can execute. You create small wins that make people want to bet on you. Then you leverage those wins to access bigger resources. You don't need credentials. You need results. Show someone you can 10 times their money, and they'll give you money. Show someone you can grow their platform, and they'll give you access. Results are the universal currency. The third tactical move is making decisive first moves. The first move in any game sets the frame. It signals intent. It forces others to react to you instead of you reacting to them. Most people are reactive. They wait to see what others do. They follow trends. They copy. That's why they're slow. You want speed? Move first. Launch the product before the competitor. Make the offer before someone else does. Hire the talent before they're famous. Invest in the trend before it's obvious. First movers get the attention, the customer, and the market share. Late movers get the scraps. Here's the thing. First moves look bold, but they're actually calculated. You're not moving blindly. You're moving based on asymmetric information. You see something others don't. You understand a shift that hasn't hit the mainstream yet. And you bet on it hard before the crowd arrives. Let me give you a real example. Right now, AI is exploding. Everyone knows it. But most people are watching, waiting to see what happens. The people who will get rich from AI are the ones moving right now, building tools, creating content, offering services, staking their claim. By the time everyone else feels comfortable, the opportunities will be gone. That's the pattern. Spot the wave, move before it peaks, capture position, let the wave carry you. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for certainty. Move. Let's go deeper on leverage because this is where most people leave money on the table. 4 engines of leverage can take you from zero to wealthy faster than anything else. Money, people, knowledge, attention. Master all 4 and you're unstoppable. The first engine is money. This is the most obvious but also the most misunderstood. Most people think you need money to make money. That's partially true but incomplete. What you actually need is access to money and the skill to deploy it effectively. Here's how you build this engine in 30 days. You start small. You take a portion of your income and you deploy it into something that has a chance to multiply. It could be a skill course that increases your earning power. It could be a small investment in an asset. It could be capital to test a business idea. The key is deployment. Money sitting in your account is dead. Money in motion has a chance to grow. In 90 days, you level up. You start looking for ways to use other people's money. You pitch a small angel investor. You get a credit line. You partner with someone who has capital. You structure a deal where you bring the execution and they bring the funding. This is where speed accelerates. In a year, you're operating at scale. You're raising real capital. You're using leverage to deploy large sums into opportunities that have asymmetric upside. You're thinking in terms of ROI, not salary. You've shifted from earning money to multiplying money. The second engine is people. This is the most powerful leverage on the plane, and most people refuse to use it because they think they have to do everything themselves. That's ego, that's fear, and it's keeping you broke. Here's a 30-day move. You identify one person who can do something you're currently doing, but they can do it better or faster. You delegate it. You free up your time to focus on higher leverage activities. Could be a virtual assistant, could be a freelancer, could be a partner, doesn't matter. The point is you stop trading your time one-to-one. In 90 days, you're building a small team. You have 2 or 3 people working on your vision. You're focusing on strategy while they focus on execution. You're learning how to lead, how to delegate, how to multiply your efforts through others. In a year, you have a system. You have people you trust running key parts of your operation. You're no longer the bottleneck. Your income isn't capped by your hours. You've built a machine that works while you sleep. The third engine is knowledge. This is the leverage that costs the least and pays the most. The right piece of knowledge at the right time can change your entire trajectory. A skill, a framework, a connection, a mental model. Knowledge is the ultimate asymmetric advantage. Here's the 30-day move. You pick one skill that's valuable and rare in your arena, and you go deep. You don't dabble, you obsess. You consume everything you can find. You practice, you apply. You become dangerous at this one thing. In 90 days, you're in the top 10% of people who have this skill. You're getting paid for it. You're getting opportunities because of it. You're building a reputation around it. In a year, you're in the top 1%. You're the person people call. You're writing your own ticket. You're using this knowledge as leverage to access the other three engines. Because when you know something valuable that others don't, you can trade that knowledge for money, people, and attention. The fourth engine is attention. This is the most misunderstood leverage of the modern era. Attention is currency. If you can capture attention at scale, you can convert that into anything. Money, influence, opportunity, power, a 30-day move. You pick one platform and you commit to showing up every single day. You don't wait until you have something perfect to say. You share what you're learning. You document your process. You add value. You start building an audience of 1, then 10, then 100. In 90 days, you have momentum. People know your name. They recognize your face. They associate you with a specific value or idea. You're getting inbound messages. Opportunities are coming to you instead of you chasing them. In a year, you have a platform. Thousands of people pay attention to what you say. You can launch a product and people buy it. You can share an idea and people spread it. You have leverage that costs nothing to deploy but generates unlimited upside. Here's the key insight. These four engines compound when you combine them. You use knowledge to build attention. You use attention to attract people. You use people to manage money. You use money to buy more knowledge. It's a flywheel. And once it's spinning, it's almost impossible to stop. Now let's talk about the advanced play. The stuff that separates the merely successful from the truly dominant. This is for the people who don't just want to win once. They want to win repeatedly. They want to build empires, not just businesses. The first advanced principle is capture, but at a higher level. You're not just capturing value. You're capturing markets. You're capturing resources. You're capturing mindshare. You're playing Monopoly. Here's what that looks like. You enter a market. You move fast. You undercut on price, or you outspend on marketing, or you out-execute on product. You make it painful for competitors to stay in the game. You capture market share aggressively. Then once you have it, you raise prices. You extract value. You consolidate. This is how every major company operates. Amazon did it with books, then everything else. Uber did it with rides. Netflix did it with streaming. They operated at a loss to capture the market, then they leveraged that position to print money. That's advanced capture. The second advanced principle is outmaneuvering allies. This sounds harsh, but it's reality. Your allies today might be your competitors tomorrow, and if you're not thinking 3 moves ahead, they will take the position you thought was yours. Machiavelli was clear on this. He said, never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception. Translation: don't fight when you can outmaneuver. Don't compete when you can collaborate until it's advantageous not to. Be ruthlessly pragmatic about alliances. Here's how this plays out. You partner with someone because they have resources you need. You extract maximum value from the partnership. You build your own position quietly. And when the time is right, when you no longer need them, you either renegotiate from strength or you walk away and compete. That's not betrayal. That's business. The third advanced principle is consolidation. Once you've built momentum, you don't relax. You consolidate. You turn short-term wins into long-term assets. You convert cash flow into equity. You convert attention into ownership. You convert influence into control. Most people make money and then they spend it. They celebrate. They relax. And someone else eats their lunch. The powerful do the opposite. They take every win and they reinvest it into more leverage, more systems, more control. They compound. Here's a quick example. You have a successful product. Most people would take the profit and enjoy it. The advanced player takes the profit and buys a competitor, or they invest in distribution, or they build a second product. They use the momentum from one win to engineer the next win faster. The fourth advanced principle is knowing when to seize versus when to build. Most people only know how to build. They grind, they grow slowly, they play it safe. But the fastest wealth is created through seizure, not construction. What's the difference? Building is when you start from scratch. Designee is when you take something that already exists and you make it yours. You acquire a competitor. You hire a team from another company. You buy an audience. You license a technology. Seizure compresses time. Here's the key. You build when there's no other option. You seize the opportunity when it exists, and you get good at recognizing which is which. Because the person who only knows how to build will spend 10 years creating what the person who knows how to seize acquires in 10 months. Let's talk about the dark side. Because everything I've said so far will make you a target. The moment you start rising fast, people notice. And not everyone is going to be happy about it. You will face envy, sabotage, attacks, backlash, and if you're not prepared, they will take you down. Machiavelli said it best. Upon seizing a state, the new ruler ought to consider all the injuries he must inflict and inflict them all at once, so as not to have to renew them daily. Translation? Expect backlash. Prepare for it. Handle it decisively. The first threat is envy. When you rise fast, people feel inadequate. They cope by tearing you down. They spread rumors. They question your character. They undermine you subtly. This is inevitable. The question is how you handle it. Here's the defense. You control your reputation aggressively. You document your wins publicly. You build social proof. You surround yourself with credible allies. You make it expensive to attack you, because attacking you means attacking everyone associated with you. Reputation is armor. Build it before you need it. The second threat is sabotage. Competitors will try to slow you down. They'll poach your talent. They'll copy your strategies. They'll undercut your pricing. They'll attack your weak points. If you're not defending, you're losing. Here's the defense. You build redundancy. You don't depend on one client, one employee, one strategy. You create contingency leverage. You have backups for your backups. You structure your operations so that no single attack can cripple you. This is operational resilience. The third threat is legal and PR attacks. The faster you move, the more likely you are to make enemies who have resources. They'll sue you, they'll smear you, they'll manufacture scandals, and if you're not prepared, they'll bury you. Here's the defense. You build a legal scaffolding early. You have lawyers, you have contracts, you have plausible deniability. You document everything. You play just inside the line. And when someone attacks, you have the resources to fight back hard and fast. You make it clear that attacking you costs more than it's worth. The fourth threat is burnout. This one is internal. You move fast, you take risks, you operate under pressure, and at some point your body and mind will try to quit. If you don't manage this, you'll implode right when you're about to break through. Here's the defense. You build defensive rituals. You sleep, you exercise, you have people you can talk to, you take calculated breaks. You remember that this is a marathon, not a sprint, even though you're sprinting. You protect your energy as aggressively as you protect your reputation. The key insight here is this. Rising fast makes you visible. Visibility makes you a target. But targets who are prepared don't fall. They consolidate power, and they use attacks as fuel. Every enemy you outlast becomes proof of your resilience. Every scandal you survive becomes part of your legend. Now we're at the end. And this is where everything changes. Because you can consume all the information in the world, but if you don't act, you stay exactly where you are. Knowledge without execution is just entertainment. So let's reframe who you are right now. You walked into this thinking you were a worker, someone who trades time for money, someone who waits for permission, someone who plays it safe. But that person doesn't exist anymore. That person is dead. You're not a worker, you're a commander. You don't ask, you decide. You don't wait, you move. You don't follow, you lead. And the moment you accept this identity, everything shifts. Here's your new reality. You control your own game. You set the rules. You pick the arena. You deploy leverage. You move with speed. You capture ruthlessly. You defend your position, and you do it without apology because the world doesn't reward the timid. It rewards the bold. Machiavelli's final lesson was this: it is better to act and repent than not to act and regret. Translation: the pain of action is temporary. The pain of inaction lasts forever. So here's your challenge. You have 24 hours to make one bold move. Not a plan, not a thought. A move, something that scares you, something that puts you in motion, something that signals to the universe that you're done waiting. Maybe it's sending the message you've been afraid to send. Maybe it's launching the idea you've been sitting on. Maybe it's quitting the job that's draining you. Maybe it's raising your prices. Maybe it's making the investment you've been avoiding. I don't know what it is for you, but you do. Here's what I want you to do. Write the words I command in the comments right now. Then tell me the single bold move you're taking in the next 24 hours. Not what you're thinking about, what you're doing, because talk is cheap, action is currency. And if this video cracked something open in you, if it made you see the game differently, if it permitted you didn't know you needed, then do two things. Hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, because this is just the beginning. There's more coming. Deeper strategies, darker truths, more tools to turn you from a player into a master, but none of it matters if you don't move. So stop watching, stop consuming, stop preparing, go execute, go take what's yours. Go command your life like the empire it's supposed to be. The game is live, fortune is waiting, and you're out of excuses, command or fade. The choice has always been yours.